Elden Ring is an objectively beautiful game, so I used my neighborhood to get its look, but obviously this came with many challenges. Come on, Davinci. But before we even get into anything, I need to pick a region to recreate, and because I enjoy a challenge, I picked 3 regions. This ended up being Limgrave, Altus Plateau, and Caelid Gale. I picked these 3 in specific as they all have a pretty different aesthetic from one another, and I also just love how they look individually. But then came another issue. You see, Elden Ring doesn't exactly look like the average American neighborhood. It's a fantasy world with torn down castles and magic everywhere you look. So it's safe to say I had none of that. So I had to make compromises. I looked around my house and had a rough looking forest in my backyard from a recent storm, and a tree that stood right in front of my house. This forest looked close enough to Altus Plateau, and there was some space as well, so I could potentially get Caelid Gale here too. And the single tree looked close enough to Limgrave. It wasn't the best, but it was the best I had, and I needed to make it work. So you'd probably be thinking, oh, just go out and take your shots and it'll be easy, right? The first issue arises at the time, because when I began shooting, it was already 10 AM. But why is that bad? The brightest time of the day is 12 PM as soon as the afternoon starts. This is because the sun is directly over you, and thus shadows won't nearly be as emphasized as it would be compared to a much dimmer time like 6 PM. Because of my camera being super sensitive to light and whatnot, all the raw shots are very bright. In other words, they were overexposed. This becomes really important later, but right now, I'm in a 2-hour time limit of shooting if I'm being generous. If I don't get the shots now, I'd probably have to wait another 4 to 6 hours to try again. Sure, if I wait, it'll be in a better setting, but that's not nearly as fun. So I'm putting myself under the time limit instead. And now we are finally going to talk about production. All of these shots were done on a cheap tripod I got recently, and a single tree in front of my house was easy. I just had to make sure to hide any power lines or roofs in my frame. Luckily, my lens was 85mm, so this was not hard to pull off. What does 85mm even mean in this context? Well, this is a focal length. And while there's actually a lot of math that goes into this, just for simplicity's sake, I'll explain it in a short phrase. Bigger is closer, smaller is wider. That's all we need to know for this video. Just know that this 85mm is my only option though, as I don't really have any other lenses. Moving on, while a single tree shot was super easy to pull off, Altus Plateau and Caelid Gale proved to be a bit troublesome. Firstly, I had this annoying fence in my way, so I had to shoot above it to get my shots. And it was really hard to see my frame because it was already getting bright at this point, but that was only the process for Caelid Gale. Altus Plateau was a bit harder. My tripod didn't go as high as I wanted it to, so after some thought, I got a stack of chairs sitting around and used that to boost my tripod up higher to get the shot, which would be great if my ground wasn't full of rocks and wasn't very balanced. So because of that, I had to hold my tripod in place so it wouldn't fall down, and framing was pretty hard again because it was too damn bright to see. But at the end of the day, we still got the shot. Something I didn't even mention was how windy it was today, and that affected the tripod stability, and I didn't notice it until it was too late. So now my shots are slightly shaky, but that's something I'm gonna have to live with, because the real challenge isn't even here yet. So once I uploaded my shots, this is where the real challenge starts, and I'll let editor Siren take over from here. Something I did notice after I got the footage is that in this shot, barely see it, but there is some dust on here. That is a very big oops, and that's not very good. I think we can work around it, especially because in the other 2 shots, it's not nearly as noticeable. I can't even see it myself. Let's just get this footage all color corrected. So with color grading and color correction, there is a difference in terms of something like art. Color grading is like rendering and coloring the subject. Color correction is more like anatomy. You need a strong foundation to build off basically. So it's color correction first and then color grading. So that's what we're gonna do now. Color space transform. We shot this in Sony S-Gimlet and we use S-Log. Boom, you see, it's already a lot better already. We are going to use Davinci Wide Gamut, and the output will be Davinci Intermediate. So it's back to normal again, but we're going to go into this node, Davinci Wide Gamut, Davinci Intermediate, Rec 709, Gamma 2.4, right. I might as well just explain this now. So we started off on S-Log, and then we converted that S-Log into Davinci Wide Gamut. And then from Davinci Wide Gamut on the other transformation, we turned that into Rec 709. That's basically the purpose of these 2 nodes, color space transform input, and this is the color space transform output. Footage comes in, footage comes out. Everything in between is when it gets a little complicated. So firstly, this is going to be the exposure, and exposure basically means oh, we need to make sure that this shot isn't too bright or too dark. And generally what I like to do is the brighter colors be around 768 and the darker colors, it's pretty good already. I think I might keep it a little bit on the brighter side. It's also pretty glowy and stuff, you know? And that seems pretty good. Up next, we got our white balance. We want to make sure that the shot is not too orange or too blue. Because when you see pure white on a film, you're expecting it to be pure white. That's basically the purpose of white balance. It's to make sure that all the colors are like correct, quote unquote. So it turns out our footage was pretty white balanced already, which is really good. This is where we get into the fun part. We're going to call this direction. Because this is where we start messing with the colors and everything. Go into hue versus saturation. Turn everything down into 0. Because we're trying to get specific colors out. The sky is more like a teal kind of thing going down. The trees, however, are very orange. So we're only going to bring in the greens on this. And we're going to bring the blues down. Look at that. Take a look at that. That's pretty sick. So once we get our greens in, we're actually going to shift the hue now. So then this look yellow. So I think that is pretty good. So what we're gonna do now is move on to the sky. We can work off this actually, because if I make this a pure color like this, move on to here, take this color out. Yes! Okay. Let's just get a green for now. I can't even see my own foot. Oh, wow. I'm thinking we might need a small change here. Let's take out that node. Oh, I got it. So we're gonna bring the teal in, and then we're actually gonna use our windows. Go into here and then bring this down, and hopefully it gets the oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know what? We're gonna use this. We're gonna make our own little shape around this tree. Something like that should be pretty good. I think that's relatively close so far. We don't have the clouds yet, but we got something here. Yeah, maybe we can add a little castle in the back. Okay. Now, it looks really ugly right now, but we can make it work. We're going to throw this guy to the side, and then we're going to pitch it a bit. We are going to blur it, don't worry. So now we're going to throw on a box blur on it. Oh, it's so ugly. And we'll even like adjust this clip as well. This is so fake. You can just, oh my gosh. Oh, it's making me cringe. You know what? Scratch that. We're not using a castle. We are gonna get clouds though. Okay. Now you might be wondering how am I gonna approach this? Easy. Do this. Okay. Oh, what is it doing? Oh yeah. So gonna go into here. We're actually gonna take this out. What we're gonna do is go into here, get that, and do that. Okay. Now we only got the sky. Switch it. Yeah. There we go. There we go. Slap that sucker in. Boom! We got a mask. Does it look the best? Hell no. But that's okay. Look at that. We even get a bit of the fog effect as well as that we were looking for. Boom! Would you look at that? Wow. Not bad. Not bad at all. That's an issue. Maybe we don't need to chroma key. And we'll call this quote-unquote crop. And then the image should be underneath the mask. Okay, for freaking cooking. Yeah, Mr. White. Make this an overlay. Oh! That was the move! We freaking did it! So basically what I did, I have the original image and the cropped image, and then I just put the clouds over the original image and have the cropped image on top. Why did I not think of this earlier? I've been doing this for almost an hour. It's only one shot too. I haven't gotten to the color of the clouds. Oh no. Never give up. It's a bit teal, but I think it can work. Oh. That's actually pretty nice. Only issue now is that this is not the right color. Okay. You play with me here. Oh, maybe you're not. Oh wait, that's really cute though. I like this. Hold on. Let's bring this a bit more in so we can get some more highlights on the tree. Okay, wait. We are so close. The sky is just a bit too bright. Maybe we keep it like this. Because I got an idea. Add something called a LUT. Basically what this is, just think of Instagram filters. That's basically all what a LUT is. I kind of like this one actually. Wow, hashtag aesthetic. I don't even think we need a LUT. I think this looks pretty good. It might just be too orange though. Might as well make the entire tree orange. I kind of surprised myself. I'm not gonna lie. This looks really good. I like this. This doesn't look necessarily close. You know what? That's okay. The only issue is that I made these clouds way too orange. Just lower that down just a little bit. That looks pretty damn good. What are we thinking, guys? At least like 27% accuracy. You know what? I'm actually gonna go back. Okay, that's the color right there. Hashtag heat. Trying to edit the clouds separately. That might just be it. I think we've done it. That shot took an hour. I'm basically going to do the same thing to the other 2 shots since I went through the entire process of this shot. I don't think I really need to commentate, so it'll probably just be a time lapse instead. So after I finished the limb grave recreation, I actually went back and did a little more visual effects to add fog myself. I basically just drew in a stretched out circle. I did the same with the other 2 shots. To make things a bit easier, I put some references in the frame to get as accurate as I could. I did experience Davinci lagging out and crashing on me a couple times, but it wasn't necessarily the end of the world, because while it did suck that Davinci crashed, the only detriment was that I got sidetracked for a little bit, which is not that bad compared to losing all of my progress. So I started this at 10 AM, and by the time I was done, it was 2 PM, meaning I spent a total of 4 hours working on these shots. And to be frank, I'm actually very impressed with myself, and I hope when I show you the final results, you will be too. But first, let me show you the original shots for comparison. And now, I'm going to show you the final recreation with the reference images. I hope you guys like these shots, and I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. And if you enjoyed this, check out my other content as well. I'm planning to make more film challenges in the future, so stay tuned.